Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Guide to Poor Parenting.
And Twitter, Facebook, TikTok at Poor Parent Pod.
Miss Jennifer.
I mean, don't ask me to introduce the guest.
I'm not going to ask you. I'm just telling you how excited I am.
Now. But he's a hugger, so I like that already.
So our friend Brian, who's been on the podcast before, invited me and Zane over to a Christmas party.
I was invited too, but I didn't get to go because
it was a Sunday.
Doesn't like to be
pleasant
out past a certain time, so I did not get to go. Sad. But.
Yes. So Brian, his husband, invited another lovely couple named Irving and Julio, and we have both of them here. This interview will be Irving's, and we're hoping Julio will come back later on once we get him a little liquored up. So Irving, say hi.
Hey.
Now, Irving, we met you through Brian and Michael. How do you know Brian and Michael?
So we met them through other mutual friends.
Okay.
They were at the Halloween party, and I kind of saw the list of the people that were going, and I think I connected well with Michael because we're both Hispanic and all that, and then we introduced us to Brian, and then they invited us to their party, to their Friendsgiving a year ago, I would say.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, they are a really sweet couple. We like them a lot.
They are.
I was telling Brian I wanted to start up like a meetup group for gay fathers because like I've met, because of the podcast, we've met so many, and I was like, I feel like gay dads can be a little isolated. At least for lesbians, it's pretty easy to like make a baby. For us, it's like an adventure unto itself. So, all right, Mr. Irving, what are we drinking today? This is per your request, so let us know.
I got a little bit of shade of it.
Sure did, but I love you anyway.
I do enjoy my cheap wine. It's Arbor Mist Blackberry or Blackberry. I think it's Blackberry. So this is my go-to. It goes down easily, and I'll have it anywhere. Plus, it gets me drunker faster.
There you go. It's not bad. It's alcoholic fruit punch with a blueberry flavor, basically. But it's not like we had a friend on the podcast not too long ago, and she asked for some peach Bellini Seagrams, like the wine coolers, and that was like, wow, that was super sweet. Yep. This one's not too bad. It's kind of tart, so it kind of takes the sweetness off, but it's not too bad. When you told me that, when Irving texted me about having the wine, I was teasing him about it, and I fully understand the desire to have cheap sweet wine. I drank it many a time. I was telling Jennifer, though, it's like when you get probably in your like late 30s, the palate starts changing, and boy, those sweet drinks hit way different, and I can't.
They'll get you.
Yeah, I can't drink them anymore.
Well, he just can't do like a lot of sweet stuff anymore. It's really, really strange how it's like his taste buds have changed so much.
Yeah, I can't even do like Moscatos or Rieslings because they're just too like cloyingly sweet. This is sweet, but it's not like so sweet it's making me gag. So I pull back a little bit of my shade that I gave you.
I'm glad. You're welcome.
I joked and was like, this is a step up from Boone's Farm. And I don't know if you know Boone's Farm, but that's something that as teenagers back in the day, that was our like first drink. And it is just straight sugar. and now I've tried it as an adult. Oh God, it's so nasty. I don't know how he drank it, but it is not. I will take back what I said because it is not as, it's sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, it's. So
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I could. So, like Jennifer and I have been working our way through a wine advent calendar we got from Costco from his dad and my mom, and those, they're all fancy wines from like Portugal and Spain, and have all been so nasty. And I would drink this any day of the week compared to like 90% of the wines we got in that fucking advent calendar. It was so gross.
Yeah, there was a couple that were okay. And he was like, we'll keep this to cook with, but not like re-drink.
Yeah. Yeah, even the best wine that we had in the advent calendar is probably worse than I would drink this over that anything in that wine advent calendar. And even though he's not really going to be part of the podcast, Julio, just yell hi so we can hear your voice.
Hi.
Okay.
That was so loud. It hurt my ears so much, Julio.
All right, Mr. Irving. So let's rewind the clock. Oh, actually, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right. And then we'll get to the interview. So we'll be right back. And we're back. Wasn't too painful, was it?
Just a little bit.
We're still debating. Like the way they stick in the ads is supposed to be like I can choose from a list of not companies, but like genres of things that, like alcohol, home goods, beauty products, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I know they'll stick them in at the beginning of the podcast, but we haven't heard from like the two people that have like listened since we started this, what they've been sticking to in the middle of the podcast. So we haven't even heard that they've stuck in anything at the moment.
Benjamin said that he hasn't heard anything I think he's on Apple right now.
Oh, okay, Apple.
That he hasn't heard anything.
Yeah, all we're like, to pull back the curtain on what we're doing, like all we literally do is say we're going to take a break, and then I count to 5 so I can find it in the playback, and then I like put a little break in there with some music and say, okay, stick some ads here.
Please.
So, please give us some money.
I want a Casper mattress.
I do too. I want some
or some good liquor.
Yeah. Although a friend of ours, Izzy, our local drag queen, Anastasia, we were talking about sponsorships, and he was telling me that he actually knows a lot of the liquor distributors around town. So he's like, I could probably get you a sponsorship with some like Hornitos or Tito's. I'm like, hell yeah. So
yeah, please and thank you.
Yeah, I think this next season I'm going to start trying to get us some sponsorships with some good liquor.
Yeah, so I don't know if Jason told you or not. He does everything.
Okay.
And I just sit here and eat and drink and talk. I have the best job ever.
I love that.
He does everything online. Well, no, I take pictures.
Yeah, you take the pictures.
And then he makes me do videos, which I hate. But I do it because I love him. Because he helps with my son so much. And that's all I really do.
That's a good trade.
Oh my God, it's great. Like, he figures everything out. I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm going to sit here, take my shoes off, and eat some good food, drink sometimes good wine.
Sometimes good
not.
wine.
Sometimes some good liquor, sometimes not, depending on who wants what, But
yeah, I made a really good Cosmopolitan yesterday. It was very strong.
Well,
there's half a cup of vodka in that Cosmopolitan. It was a double, so I was like, "Ooh, this is a lot of vodka."
And Jennifer felt nothing.
Oh my God, I was by 6 o'clock yesterday. I was I wanted just to take a nap so bad. All right, so let's rewind the clock, Mr. Irving. How old are you to begin with?
So I turned 30 last year, going to turn 31 this year. Rewind is in what? What else?
Well, let's see. How long have you and Mr. Julio been together? Because that's usually because that's y'all have a child together.
Yes.
That you kind of co-parent with another couple. I know that much at least. So how long have you and Mr. Julio been together?
We've been together for 12 years.
Since you were 18?
Yes.
Wow. Now, Julio, how old are you?
37.
I was legal.
Okay.
It was.
Did you say 38?
38.
38?
So he was.
Ooh.
So he was
Daddy.
26 when y'all started dating.
He was 25.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually better. Like my first boyfriend, we were in college. I was in grad school and he was an undergrad. He was 18 and I was 27. So.
Yeah, but they're still together, which is surprising for.
That's true.
An 18-year-old.
Yeah.
18. Yeah.
For y'all still to be together after all these years, that's.
I think the secret that everybody always asks how you guys last so long is that you learn to love the people that you change into. Because you're not the same person you are when you guys like meet each other.
Right.
So I'm not the same when I was 18, 25, or 27.
Right.
And then if you don't learn how to love me in those times, then that's how the relationship just fells out.
Right.
And same way goes for him. Like I learned who he was at that time, and then I've seen him change, and we've been together just because of that. Like we learned, and then we just love each other who we are today.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh.
I want that one.
So y'all met back when you were graduating high school. And
I was in college. I was studying. I was trying to be a biologist. But college wasn't for me at that time in my life. I just wanted to get out, see the world.
Yeah.
I was raised a Christian, so I couldn't see the world as much until I finally went to college. So when they finally gave me that kind of freedom, that's all I wanted to do.
So where were you at college?
So I was still in Puerto Rico.
You were in Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the college that I went to was a Christian college, obviously. So, but it wasn't a smart idea because I was in a dorm full of other men. So,
Well, I mean, that's
I
a
was about
smart
to say,
idea for you.
I'm sure there was other closeted Christians there.
oh no, there's a few. There still are. But I think my parents at that time didn't think about it, and they're like, "You're gonna be protected." I'm like, "You guys made a mistake." But again, those are experiences that I'm grateful for because it turned me into the person I am today and where I'm at.
Yeah. So how did this dirty old man tempt you out of Christian college?
So I think every gay goes through it. The apps. A little bit of
some of us are so old we didn't have the apps, but yes, continue.
Classified ads? That's Jason's era?
So it's a funny story. I actually catfished him.
Irving.
Because I was still in the closet by that time, but I still want to have some fun online. So I catfished him, and then when I thought that he was getting a little bit too much into it, I kind of cut it off. Little did I know he wasn't getting into it. I was number 6 on his list. But in my mind, I was young. This is somebody that I had interest in. That I didn't want to like break his heart or hurt his feelings. So I decided to just disappear from his life.
So what picture were you catfishing with him? Was it Ricky Martin or something?
No. I mean, I had to be smart with the catfish because, well, it is what it is when you got to, share different things online. I had to find somebody with my same skin color. So that's all I need to discuss because that would be a long, long, long story.
Okay.
But yes, he was catfished.
You found somebody.
I did.
And then you guys stopped talking,
Yes.
I'm guessing. And then how did it come back to y'all talking again?
Months later, I was already more comfortable with my sexuality and been more out than I was, even at the Christian college. And I went back and I said, I actually felt like I had a connection with this guy. So I tried to find him. I didn't remember his name. I
have a connection with you, but I don't know your name.
Like, I know nothing about you except that your 1 or 2 pictures online, and I don't know how I did it, but I went to my old email where I use it for the apps, found his email and emailed him.
Aww.
To tell him that I wanted to tell him who I was and if he was interested to text me. And I think at that point he didn't even check his emails, and that day he checked his emails, and then he called me. And from there on out, it's just been that. We just started meeting each other. I sent him my real pictures this time. And in the beginning, it was like, oh, this is just going to be for fun. Let's not expect anything out of this. And 12 years later, we expected too much.
Did he like, was he upset about the catfishing?
No, I think he was more curious.
Like, why would you do it?
Yeah, he just wanted to know who I was and why did I did the whole catfishing. And I think when I told him that it was because I was mostly in the closet, he understood.
Gotcha.
And then when Julio comes on the podcast, we'll get the real story.
Well, I didn't want to put Julio on the spot and make him talk.
Oh, yeah, no.
So that's why I asked.
We'll get him liquored up another day and have him over.
To respect his wishes of not, saying much. But he might be like, oh, hell no, that's not how that shit went. And, We might get him talking.
There you go. Okay, so you're 18. How long after that did you end up leaving college? With 19, or did you make it through the first year?
I finished my first semester, and then when I started my second semester, that's when I decided I didn't want to go back to college.
Okay.
And by that point, Julio and I were a little bit more serious, but my parents made me get one of those student loans, and then because we didn't have that much money. Like in Puerto Rico, it's not like here. Like you got to save up for your kids to go to college. In Puerto Rico, it's like if you want to go to college, that's on you, and that would be money that you have to make. My parents helped me as much as they could, but at that point, is like I had a scholarship my first semester, and they took it away, and I didn't know about it until I was already in the semester. So I had to get the whole student loans and all that stuff.
Oh, that sucks.
Did they take it away because they knew you were a homosexual?
Don't know.
Okay.
No, so I graduated high school with good grades, and my first semester, college was completely different. I wasn't prepared for it. I'm very much what's the word? Procrastinator. So I'll wait towards the end to do anything.
And you can do that in high school, but you can't do that in college. Yeah.
So I never learned that until learning it the hard way. I did have good grades, but it wasn't enough for them to keep me in the program that they had me in. So I lasted that whole semester, and then towards the end, when I was going to have my finals, they wouldn't give me my finals because I had to pay. And I had to pay over $700 that I didn't have because I didn't have a job. My parents didn't have the money at that point, and I didn't know what to do. The school had a program or the college had a program where half of the money that I was given from the loan was placed in the cafeteria. So I dropped out of college, and they gave me that money back, and that's how I paid the rest of the money. But at that point, I already dropped out, so I couldn't do anything about it. And Julio and I, like I said, we were a little bit more serious in that sense, and I think we moved in together 3 months in. People say whatever they can say. It's 3 months for me was enough, and then we moved in together because
that's something. Zane and I were about that. He practically moved in. Yeah. So.
Lesbians, U-Hauls, you know, the whole...
You're not alone in that story, so don't feel bad about that. So y'all living in Puerto Rico. Where are y'all at? Mayagüez? No, not y'all were. Where y'all?
I was actually Mayagüez was where I was in college.
Okay.
But we were living in north of Puerto Rico, Vega Alta, and that's where we stayed for the majority of the time before we moved to here to Alabama.
So y'all went straight from Puerto Rico to here?
Oh. No, we went from Puerto Rico to Alaska, and then Alaska to here.
Okay, we need a little bit more explanation on that one. How does a little Puerto Rican boy go to Alaska?
So they were offering jobs in Alaska. For Puerto Rico, they pay you the minimum $7.25 an hour, whatever you're doing. That doesn't matter. You can have your degrees or anything. $7.25 is what you're going to get paid. And one of my friends was like, "Hey, you can go to Alaska. I went there last year. You can make up to $10,000 in 3 months."
Wow.
For me, that was a lot of money.
Heck yeah.
So I was like, what do we do? What's the link? Where do we apply? And they were recruiting people from Puerto Rico, and they were going to pay half of your ticket to go there, your living situation, you have three meals a day and all that stuff. I was like, this is something that they were paying $10 an hour. Again, $10 an hour, what was it, 2016?
Not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all.
And especially if they were paying, you said they were paying your living expenses?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so for us, it was like a win-win. And then like the overtime is going to be 15, and you always have guaranteed overtime.
What was the job?
It was a fish farm.
Oh.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when we got there, the first 3 days, we were still waiting on the for the boats to come back with the fish. So we were off. We still had our free food and all that stuff, so we could roam Alaska. And we were at Sitka. Half of Sitka is a tourist site, so it's beautiful. A lot of places, like they had real fur. I was like, you guys kill these animals and place them yourself.
Yep.
Cool. And the first 3 days was amazing. I mean, I would never have thought we were going to be in Alaska. And then we were together, and then the work started. And they placed us in positions that other people didn't want to. And we thought, well, okay, that's fine. We could handle it. Until we started working 17 hours a day.
Ooh.
It got to
That's the overtime you were talking about.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it was required that you had to work that much?
required. The one day that we called out, for some reason they thought we were twins. In no shape and form. He was like for obviously whoever's listening, Julio is very white and I am very brown. So we're first off, we're not twins. Second of all, they noticed it really quickly when we called out that one day, and they told us, you guys came here to work, so you guys can't be calling out. After working every other day, say 15 to 17 hours, and then you have to walk back to your living space, take a shower, go to sleep, wake up, and just repeat the next day.
Good Lord, when do you have time to eat or sleep or do anything?
They had breaks, they had lunches and all that stuff, but other than that, that's it. You slept for 4 to 5 hours, if that, because sometimes you're too tired to sleep. And then there was one day that I ended up collapsing in our where we were like a little apartment situation, and we said like we need to leave. Like this is not something we want to keep doing. Problem is, the minute that you let them know that you're leaving, you have about 20 minutes to leave the apartment.
Oh wow.
So you have to pick up all your things and you have to leave because they have more people coming. They don't care. I was just a number. So we had to plan it before we quit. So we had to keep working.
Wow.
And
was this like 7 days a week?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So,
Did you have any days off?
Whenever there was any fish or crabs, that's when we had a day off. And then they always try to find something for us to do.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like slave labor right there.
Yeah, it was. And then there was no accommodations. Like your back was always hurting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we had to do was like clean the fishes as they come through like the line. And you had 3 gloves, and then you have like a really sharp knife. If you were to cut your glove, the water that comes out of that, it is freezing cold.
Oof.
You can't take a break to change it.
Oh my goodness.
So you could be there for another hour receiving that cold water.
Ugh.
It was very much slave labor.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's these little tiny remote villages out in the middle of nowhere. And there's not a lot of like labor boards or anything like that taking care of the workers. So
Yeah, a lot of the workers were like from the Philippines, and they were like all for it because they knew the jobs that they can do that wasn't required for them to break their backs that much. We were the new guys.
yeah,
So everybody that
they
was,
got the good stuff.
they
and
got
then
the
they
good
left
stuff.
You with the shit.
Yeah,
the
they
shit
went to the
show.
good corners, and then we were just like, oh, this is so much not fun afterward.
yeah.
After a while.
That's one way of putting it. It's not fun.
Yeah. It was an experience because I can't I can't say how many people have been to Alaska, and we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't all bad. You know, like let's say like there's like the bald eagles they were all free. They were like flying around. They looked like pigeons because they were like everywhere. One of the experiences that it's always going to be there is like, so we got there when it was mostly days.
Right.
So we had like 3 hours of night.
Oh.
And one of the times that we were walking back to our apartment, as we're walking, you can see the sun on one side and the moon on the other, and then how they met, the night and day met in the middle as we're walking.
Oh, neat.
By that time, I had an iPhone 3, so the picture wasn't good. It didn't do it justice. But it was an experience. Wouldn't do it again. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But if you want an escape, that would have been a great idea for y'all.
Oof.
No, thank you.
I'm sure
Not
for
a great idea for Jennifer.
I mean, I have a feeling that's a pretty common story for like in the meatpacking industry, just in general, because like I always hear these horrific stories from Tyson and all the like chicken processing plants around here and all the immigrant labor they bring in to just basically abuse. So, that sounds rough. I'm amazed.
I watched The Deadliest Catch, and I'm like, there's no way I would go on that boat. You ain't getting me on that boat. I'm sorry.
I I was gonna ask when you came over the mainland. I was like, did you go to Disney World? Because I did the Disney College program at Disney World for a year, and like I would say probably about 50% of the employees in the entertainment, because I worked with the characters, like half of them. Well, spoilers for any Disney fans out there. Usually your Mickey Mouse that's greeting you is a 40-year-old Puerto Rican woman because they're small. And I was, it doesn't surprise me that we had that many Puerto Ricans, but I was like kind of amazed that it seemed like they had a program to ship Puerto Ricans over to work at Disney World.
We're Puerto Rican is the Amazon of the United States. You just ship us anywhere. Right now, if you go to was it Kissimmee in Florida, that is Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
that is full on Spanish speaking everywhere. Music, reggaeton. Whoever knows about that music,
I do.
And the food, obviously, the food is amazing. So
we were in Kissimmee when was it? 3 years ago, and when we went to Disney World.
It was my first time in Disney.
Yes.
I was a big kid, and I was like, yay, characters. And I had a Stitch t-shirt on, because I love Stitch, and it's kind of a pride shirt, too, because he has like a heart with like rainbows on it. And it was during kind of COVID time, so we had to wear masks, but Stitch was on the stage behind me, and he was behind me in the picture. So that way I have a picture of me and Stitch. So that made me like really, really happy. I am such a big kid that I think I had more fun than the kids did.
Oh, yeah. The kids just wanted to leave and go back to the pool.
Which was freezing cold.
Yeah, because it was February.
No sense.
Oh, yeah. Does not make sense.
No.
Well, they're kids.
Yeah.
So y'all get back to, did y'all go from Alaska back to Puerto Rico, or did y'all go somewhere else?
We just came here.
Oh, you came straight. So how did y'all end up in Huntsville? Because I don't like...
So Julio's brother was the first one of his family members to move here. And he said he fell in love with it, and this is a good place to live back in 2016 when everything was cheap. We came to visit one time, and I actually like this place. So if this is something that we really want to do, let's go ahead and do it. So by that time, Julio was finishing his degree. And we decided as soon as he got his degree done, that's when we were going to move to Huntsville.
Okay.
Julio, what'd you get your degree in?
What did you get?
He's a social worker.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Lord.
I
My heart
have
goes out
much
to you.
respect for you. Much respect for you.
It was hard. The practices that he has to do. They send him to one of the places in Puerto Rico. He had to work with the homeless, and that was a lot.
I bet.
So they sent you back to Puerto Rico? Or sent him back to Puerto Rico?
No. When he did his practice before he graduated. But then
okay. So he graduated in Puerto Rico.
Yes, and then we moved over here.
Gotcha. My bad. I forget that he's older, so that makes more sense now. Okay.
He looks young.
Sorry. He does. You look like a baby. Not like a baby, but a cute baby.
So y'all land here, and did y'all start living with his brother?
Yeah, we were there for roughly 8 months at their place because they were very generous with us. So we love them. Like they were the first ones that told Julio when I was going through my whole situation after I came out of the closet back in Puerto Rico. They told him like he needs to move in with you so you can move in with us, and then we can all live together and all that. And our living situation was like we had good chemistry with them. And same thing happened when we came over here, and they were like, you guys need to get your stuff first. So our room had our bed frames, our TVs, everything that we could fit in that room ready for our first apartment. So they just let us buy stuff and just keep that room as a room/closet for all our things.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were in Huntsville?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they still in Huntsville?
They are still in Huntsville.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So you just went straight from cold to hot when it's summertime.
Yes.
Which hot is probably more your style. Puerto Rico, maybe, or.
I enjoy the heat. I prefer the cold though.
Oh, really?
Just because if you're like in public, you can dress up for the cold. You can't dress down for the heat.
Yeah, you can't take. Well, I mean, you can take off more clothes, but I think you'd get in more trouble if you did that.
We should not.
We don't want to do that. No. Okay.
So y'all land. So when did y'all land in Huntsville?
2006, July of 2016, or was it August? I think it was August.
Okay, so
August
16.
of 2016. Because like the whole Alaska program, as soon as we told them we had to leave, or we're leaving, we pick up our things and we left.
Did
They're
they fly
like,
you out, or
"Deuces."
did you have to pay your own flight?
We had to pay our own flight,
Oof.
and they only had 2 gates in Sitka, so it was $800 just to get to Alabama.
I mean, it's expensive, but that's actually kind of not bad for such a remote little town.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still contact with anybody there? Y'all weren't even there very long, were y'all?
A month and a week, I think.
Okay.
That's what. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you have any friends out there? But I would imagine you didn't
No,
have time.
no.
Working 17-hour days.
No, we were very much like mindset to work, go to sleep, work, go to sleep, and we made a few friends. But I mean, it's been so many years, like we haven't having any more contact with them.
Dang, that's gonna be hard. So y'all land here, and how long before y'all were able to like move out and get your own place?
8 months, I would say 8 months.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
That's a pretty good.
8 months, we got our first apartment, and we fell in love with the apartment. Like we were, because we like to like make like family parties at that time. We didn't have a lot of friends, so every weekend everybody was at our place, and then. As you know, Hispanics love to party, and we have all our neighbors were Hispanic.
I did not know that.
So
Did not know
they had a party at their place. We had a party at our place. Music was playing on every side, and it was amazing. Like
That
nobody
sounds
was.
great.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. What part of town were y'all in?
South Parkway, Drake Avenue, was it? Drake Avenue, close to the kids park that they have over there.
Oh,
There's like I think there's a
that's airport.
No.
no. Before that, there's
Drake, ABC's, the ABC streets.
Oh, yeah, over by in that
Where,
area
where
yeah.
they have the
Drake,
soccer field stuff.
yeah, right there.
Drake and Waltriana and all that. Yeah,
What year was this that y'all were doing, that y'all lived there?
16.
2016, so yeah.
So, let's see. 2016, I don't know how old I was.
That was,
I was in high school.
8 years. No, 2016. That was 8 years ago, dear.
Oh, shit. Never mind, I was not in high school.
9 years ago.
If I had been, I would have been partying with you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
No, for real. Because for some reason, and I'll say Mexicans because they were all Mexicans, like 12 people to a house to send all their money to their families, from their work and stuff. But we would be just partying up all the time when I was a teenager. I was not a teenager at that time, but I would have been hanging out with you
Yes.
guys, partying definitely, because I loved it. It was like your family, even though you're not family, and they didn't care that I was a gringa. They were just like, "Come on, you can drink tequila, let's go," kind of thing. So those are fun.
Yeah, they're very welcoming.
Yes, and I'm glad that you found that kind of tribe or that neighborhood.
Yeah.
To be able to do that and kind of, and it also helps you think about home too, I think.
Yeah, it was very it was comfortable. It was cheap. It was like $500 a month, 2 rooms, 1 bathroom.
Oof.
Well, you can't find that anywhere anymore.
Nope.
No, not anymore.
Not in
yeah.
Huntsville. You gotta go to
So
Decatur for that.
It was great. I have no complaints out of it. I think after we moved there to a different apartment complex because one of our friends wanted to move, he couldn't finish his lease, so we needed somebody to finish his lease for him. And it was we were living on the 2nd floor. He was living on the 1st floor, and the parking was like right there, like at the door.
Right.
So we were like, "This is gonna be amazing. This right there. It's like $100 more, 2 rooms, 1 bathroom again. Like we can do this." And it was the worst experience ever.
Did you have unruly neighbors up top?
We had a lot. Up top, we had at least 3 to 4 new neighbors on the top side, and then the neighbors to our right started stealing our stuff.
Oh
No.
Yeah, it's like it was dumb. We had Dollar Tree decorations for Christmas, and they were gone. I'm like, we'll get another one if you need one. Like, you don't have to steal it.
Did they like put it out on their balcony or something?
No, they just, we knew it was them because there was this one day we saw them looking into our apartment, and then we talked to the manager of the apartment complex, and she was like, oh, she's handling all that. I did a little digging and investigation. She was families with them.
Yeah, I
So
bet she was.
she's handling it.
I bet she
doing
was.
all of the-
She was doing
the
no
stuff,
investigation
yeah.
whatsoever. Now, the tea with that was I used to work night shift, and then I used to wait until Julio went to work. He woke up at 6. He went to work at 7. I got off of work at 1:30. By that time, Walmart was still open, so I was just roaming at Walmart, buying something to eat, and then just watching a series around that time. And I hear a lot of screaming and banging outside around 4 a.m. And when I looked through my peephole, there was at least 7 cop cars, to include army, army tanks and all that stuff.
Oh, sugar.
And I see my neighbors on the floor.
Oh,
And the doors, I don't know where the door went, and they were just grabbing stuff, and it was a raid.
drugs or something else?
And I was just like looking and sipping on my coffee, like,
Sit on the porch. You stole my Dollar Tree stuff. Here we go.
like,
Drinking my tea.
There you go. Like, you were a problem, and then
Wow.
Karma gotcha.
Karma gotcha.
That's right.
And
Karma
then-
is a bitch. That's for sure.
I went to pay my rent, and the manager, you see what I did for y'all? I'm like, you didn't do anything, girl. Like, I did not see you there. You were not on the floor. You were not with the police. Like, they caught him. So we're not friends. And then she started talking about her trip from Mexico because she thought I was Mexican. So, as per normal.
I was just about to ask that because our daughter, she is like, y'all saw her, she's black, but for our listener audience, both our kids are black, and she especially lives in Cullman, Alabama, which was, I don't know if y'all knew this, but it was like where it was the headquarters of the KKK in Alabama. Ooh. And it was a sundown town. Not cool. And it's still an incredibly white town. Like, every time we go down to visit her, it's like they're the only faces of color anywhere in a restaurant or Walmart.
And, do you guys know what a sundown town is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No? So a sundown town is where if it's dark and you're black or any color than white, cops will go after you.
Yeah.
You have to be in your house or out of town. And Kiki told us that the sign that said sundown town is still in the courthouse, like, basement.
Yep.
Like, they're keeping it for memorabilia. But I think that was the home of the KKK for Alabama.
Yep.
Was Coleman. So they're very proud.
Yeah.
In a bad way. In a bad way.
Have y'all experienced, I mean, like, Huntsville's kind of a blue dot in a very red sea. Have y'all had to endure a lot of racism? I'm sure everybody and their fucking mother calls you Mexican, but
Yes.
like, beyond that, is there anything like more blatant?
I would say one of my experiences when I was working, I was cleaning. I was cleaning. Yeah, I didn't help my situation. There was this one lady asking me for directions to the lobby, and she started asking me slowly, like, do you know where the lobby is? Like, ma'am, the lobby's on the first floor. You need me to take you there? Like, and then she's like, oh, you speak, like, yeah, like, this is not charity work. They wouldn't hire me if I couldn't, communicate. So that was one of them. A few of them when we were, like, during COVID and all that stuff, and obviously everybody has masks, and I would walk with Julio around, and they'll ask questions. I'll start speaking, and they'll look at him. They wouldn't address me until they realized it was me.
So for our listening audience, Irving, you are slightly darker complected than Julio. Mm-hmm. So yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me in Huntsville, Alabama. But yeah.
Well, my thing is,
what?
Yep. It doesn't make sense.
I did lose some color. Back in Puerto Rico, I was brown, like, very much golden brown, very nice color that it had in me. Alabama sun is so different. It doesn't.
It burns.
No, it's just, it's there. It doesn't give me the tan that I need to survive.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that was one of the situations that, other than when out of nowhere people will ask me about El Chapo or
did you help him build his tunnel?
Probably, yeah.
Were you over there?
Me or one of my siblings.
Yeah.
Lord.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, God.
When they were like gracias and all that stuff. Or if I had a green card. I was asked if I had a green card
Wow.
in one of my interviews. After
Like a job interview?
A job interview. After I've already told them like I'm Puerto Rican, and they're like, okay, so you have your green card. I'm like, I don't need one
Because you don't know your geography or
a lot of people
American
are,
English or American history.
I've noticed a lot of people are uneducated, and I don't blame them because some of their questions are very sincere, and I feel bad for them. There was this one lady that asked me, how far of a drive is it from here to Puerto Rico? I was like, so I'll go to the coast and then get a boat, and then whatever the time, like maybe 2 days, and I'll get there, girl.
Good old American education system right there.
Well, that's very nice of you to educate the stupid white people about this.
So I like I said, I felt bad for her because she genuinely asked me that question. She wasn't being sarcastic. She was like, she doesn't know anything about Puerto Rico.
Right.
They don't know that we're citizens.
Right.
To
a point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Like,
I will say, not to defend her, but I have also said some, not like necessarily racist, but I've also said some like really whopper stupid things. So hopefully it was just her being dumb.
No, and I saw it in her eyes when she was telling me about it. I was like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
You're just uneducated.
Yeah, and that's fine. And you know when people try to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know when their intentions are not good.
Right.
That's when you fight back for that. And you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna make you feel stupid.
Yeah.
But when it's stuff like that, I don't take it as a defense.
Well, that's good.
I'm glad it hasn't been god awful.
No.
When people move here, I'm always like, oh Jesus Christ, what's going to happen to these poor people in this awful town? But like surprisingly, I haven't heard a lot of like just out in the open racism.
Yeah.
But
you're just not in the right area.
You're right, I live in a bubble, and I realize that
you were just the white man with the black kids.
No, you're right. I do live in a bubble, so I'm not gonna. I completely acknowledge that.
I wasn't trying to be mean.
No. I
Okay.
did not take it that way.
Okay, good.
Okay, so y'all are, it's like 2017 probably about this time. Y'all are living here. You got an apartment. So I know, and Julio, if we get to you on the podcast, we're going to ask you about your kid, but you have a child with a particular person. We'll get you to tell that story. When did you and the mother decide to try and have a child? That was 2000 or 2001?
20.
So
20? Sorry, 20?
Yes.
20?
2019 is when we had the solid decision to start. But it was around Christmas time 2018. And we every other year, or at least once a year, we go to Julio's friend's house in Florida, and all of his old friends, like they're like 20 years plus, still friends. And we all get together at one of she's my kid's godmother right now. We go to her house, and then everybody's there. We're all drunk. We're all having fun. Who's my son's godfather was making a joke. He was like, everybody here has a kid, separated or not, with someone in here, except for you and so-and-so. Her name is Surasai. There's
What'd you say her name was?
Surasai. That's why Suri. We call her Suri.
Oh,
Suri.
I heard suicide, so I had to make sure that I understood correctly, because I can't hear sometimes.
Okay, no, I got you, girl.
So suicide.
Surasai, yes.
Suicide, okay.
And is she
She's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican as
She is
well?
She looks Asian, but she's Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Because, Puerto Rico, if you ever been there, there's like I literally have, my cousin is blonde, and her kid has blue eyes, and they're all Puerto Rican.
When I was there, I met a few redheads.
Well, that was all. It's all the white people that go over there and then have babies with
All the colonizers.
Yeah.
Colonizers, yeah. Puerto Rico's just full of mutts. We're just all mixes.
Okay, so will you explain Sui's relationship to Julio?
All right, so Surasai is currently the wife of Julio's ex-wife.
Okay.
Yes. So this is how it happened. They made that joke. They said, "You guys don't have kids," and we were like, "Ha ha, hee hee, yeah, we don't have kids." And then she took that comment seriously, and she's like, "Do you want to have a kid?" At this point, this is like the third, fourth time meeting her because this was a new relationship. So I didn't know how to feel about it, but I've always wanted to have a kid. So for me, I had mixed feelings. Like, do I want this or do I not? Because I don't know her.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Were y'all? So you said Sui is Julio's ex-wife's girlfriend. Were y'all friendly? Did you know Julio's ex-wife?
Oh yeah, like we were.
Are y'all all friends?
We're besties.
Oh, okay.
It got to a point sometimes where he would stay with my stepdaughter at home, and I would go with her and have we were exercise or we were doing something else.
Good.
Her and I were like almost the same person, just different parts.
So she, the ex-wife, and that was a new relationship for the ex-wife and the girlfriend. That was a new relationship. Okay, when you said new relationship, I wasn't quite sure what you meant. So
yeah,
okay.
that was a fresh relationship, and then we talked about it, and then we kind of just left it at that. We didn't agree to anything. By that time, Maria had already hit Puerto Rico, so they decided to give us custody of Julio's daughter, which was a hard decision for her.
Right.
She was going back to Puerto Rico while her daughter was going to stay with us.
And she was how old this time? She's 15 now, right?
She's 15.
So that was about 6 years ago. So it was about 10.
Yeah, she was like
10 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why I don't understand. I might be just.
I think they were trying to go back. I think the ex-wife and the girlfriend were going back to Puerto Rico, and they didn't want to put the daughter in danger, so they gave
Of
the hurricane.
They wanted to go back to help. Is that why they
had to? They still had. So they're both nurses, so they had to go back to work and all that stuff. But like the house that they were in that got flooded and all that stuff, and there was so much going on their side.
Okay.
The best scenario was for
you guys to
keep her.
I got you.
That's
what threw me off. Is like, why did they have to go over there?
Yeah.
Is where I was.
They live in Rico.
They lived.
Yeah,
okay.
that was we were all like congregated in our friend's house. So we were all from different states or different places.
Oh, that's right. Y'all were over
Okay.
in Florida together when the hurricane hit, and then okay, now that makes more sense.
This just helps the listeners and me understand.
Me too.
No, you're
what's
good.
going on, because this is a very
Detailed story.
detailed story. Yes, there's a lot of people and
Sorry.
No. That's why I'm asking these questions. I hope if I ask anything that you don't want to answer, you just say shut up. And I might. I'll just change the subject.
No, I'll try to be as an open book as I can.
Oh well, I mean, it's whatever you want to tell, really. So I mean, this is your platform, not If you don't want to say something, you just don't say something.
So 2019, you moved back you go back to Huntsville with Julio's daughter. Mm-hmm. And were y'all living in an apartment at the time? Or
Yeah, we were at our second apartment at that point.
Oh, the bad one that you didn't like?
The bad one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, actually, we were still on our first one, and then we moved to the bad one. Okay. So with that decision that they made them decide to move with us. Mm-hmm. They Sudasai at that point was scared because how much she had to speak English and all that stuff, but she actually learned pretty quickly.
Okay.
And they moved in with us. They were with us, I think, 3 months. That's about it.
Oh, okay.
3 months, and then they moved into their own place. And then the conversation started. We were actually going to dinner for our anniversary. And then she's like, "Can I talk to you guys?" At this point, already a year had passed from our conversation, and we've never spoke about it again.
And who's we? Just to make sure that I'm following.
So
they came back from Puerto Rico.
Yes, Sudasai and Arlene, Arlene is Julio's ex-wife.
Okay.
And then Julio and I had the conversation that if we're gonna that they wanted a kid, and it was gonna be 50-50. Everything was gonna be split in the middle. And she caught me off guard because we never spoke spoke about it during that whole year, and then she just decided that one time we were at Red Lobster just looking at our biscuits like, what the heck just happened? And
Did she just say what she said?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? I don't know. Let me think about this.
we were just like I was speechless, and Julio always been like, if you want to be a dad, go ahead and do that. I already had my experience. I don't need to have another child, but if you feel like you need to, just go on ahead.
Aww.
And like he's always been there for me when I like make my any decisions, smart or dumb, and he has helped me through them. So I called her the next day. I told her, hey, you know what? Let's do it. Let's
have a baby.
Let's make a baby.
Yeah.
Let's get the turkey baster out.
And my son is a turkey baster.
I thought it was a Diva Cup.
Diva Cup, yes. He was a Diva Cup.
Okay.
Sorry, turkey baster is the first thing that comes to my
No,
mind.
They tried. I think you told us you tried the turkey baster method.
Well, yes, but not the actual thing.
Well, yeah, like a syringe.
A syringe, yeah. And there's a kit you can buy online that we tried it and it wasn't working, and then
Gotcha.
Julio saw a video on YouTube of two lesbians who tried a Diva Cup, and we were like, you know what, let's try it out. What do we have to lose?
Yay
and then,
for TikTok.
yeah. And then suddenly she got pregnant by one try.
Wow. So that was kind of like meant to be.
Yes.
So now you guys both have kids.
Yes.
Years apart, of course.
Yes.
And they're both from not the same mom, but
No,
The same relationship, I would say.
Is it the two
no
ladies?
yeah. So they have both couples have kids together, and it's all like, but not
but I mean, it's Julio and the ex-wife,
Arlene.
Yes.
and then Irving and
Sui.
Suda,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So you guys both have kids, and then they both have kids,
Yeah.
which works out perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
So co-parenting is amazing. We all sit down and talk about the kids and what we are going to decide. But ultimately, depending on which kid it is depending on the parents.
Okay.
But everybody has an opinion. Everybody gets to talk and say what they need to say about, I mean, whatever, if it's a birthday or if it's a trip or a surgery, because my son has already had a few surgeries.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is he okay?
He's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a strong kid. He's good.
So-
He is precious as all get out, because we went over their house a few weeks ago, and he was so sweet and well, at least to us, well mannered. Kalia's the same way; she's well mannered to other people, and then when you get her privately, you're like, "Fuck." But
So what's the difference in age between Julio and Arlene's baby?
the Julio's daughter is 15.
Yes, and my son just turned 5, so 10 years.
10 years. So
Yes.
that's not too bad. And do they get along really well?
Yeah. So she, Darlene has a very strong, I would say, I'm trying to translate it in Spanish from my head, like a strong characteristic. She's very rough around the edges. Like she looks like a tomboy, but she's not.
Okay.
Like that kind of thing. And she's never she's not a hugger. She's not she's a good girl, but she's not very loving and all that stuff.
Right.
Until my son was born. And then she
Oh.
hugs him. She
So she's like, I'm your mama.
she is very much big sister. And I always told Julio, I never want her to feel like I need her to take care of my son for anything.
Right.
I don't need a babysitter, or I don't need a free babysitter because we signed up for this, so we're the parents.
Right.
She's a kid. She's a sister. She is not obligated to do anything that because some people, even in the Hispanic culture, the older kid usually takes care of the younger
kids.
ones.
Yeah.
And I didn't want her to go through that.
Yeah.
But she still does because she is
wants
mama.
she wants to.
Yeah.
She was she sees us sometimes and we're in the beginning, my son wasn't he went through a lot, and he was always crying, always
Was he colicky or something?
I don't know if it was colicky.
He was allergic to the formula.
Yes, he was allergic to the formula. So we had to change the formula until we find the right one.
Okay.
And there was times where we were just he would sleep for 40 minutes and he would wake up crying, and then we would try to put him back to sleep and he'd wake up crying again. It was the first few months
hell.
It was like,
Yeah.
there's no return policy here.
Yeah.
She
She helped during that?
she saw that, and she, like, we never asked her anything, but she would sometimes ask us if she could bathe him or she could help us feed him and all that stuff. Like, and then the thing is that you wouldn't expect this from, if you ever, like, meet her, you wouldn't expect that from her, because she's just so, like, she's not
She kind of closed off.
She's
like
closed.
she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's closed
really
off. She's very, very like.
It takes a long time to get her to warm up to you.
Yes, she's very picky with the people that she loves.
Gotcha.
And she, like, connected, like, very, like, quickly with my son.
Yeah.
And right now, if you see them, they fight, like, they're like, he copies a lot of what she does because she is the oldest one. Mm-hmm. And it's like seeing a mini her when
That's
they come
cute.
around. He is still more loving than she will ever be. I love my stepdaughter, but I see the difference, and I also really much appreciate what she has done, because it wasn't easy.
And it wasn't asked for, so you know that you can keep it in you keep it in the back of your head. I did not make her do this.
No.
She decided to do this.
Yes.
So you know that that's love.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's really sweet, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was days that I needed her to babysit. I would pay her. Like, I would let her know, like, if you can babysit, I'll give you money for it. I don't want you to think that you're obligated to. If you have other things to do, you want to go out with your friends. She now has a boyfriend, so if you want to go out with your boyfriend and all that stuff, if you can do this, I will be paying you for this. This is not for free. I understand that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's been a process, but at this point, I think we all understand each other and we all mesh together well.
That's really good. Do
re-
we like boyfriends since she's 15?
Yeah.
We do like boyfriend.
Okay. I'm just because 15 is that's still kind of puppy love. And,
Yes.
And if she follows in stepdad's footprint, not footprints, but in your shoes, then that's only 3 years before got that.
When she's 18 and she wants to do that, that's on her.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And that's the only thing we pray. Like, girl, please don't get pregnant. That's right now. You're 15, finish school. After 18, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do that.
Live life. That's what my thing is with the kids. It's just like y'all know we talk and we talk a lot about it, but be a kid.
Yeah.
Be a kid. Yeah. And actually, the boyfriend, he's a smart kid, and she wasn't getting good grades in the beginning, and since she has met him, he has placed her in like advanced programs.
Wow. Oh wow, nice.
So
awesome.
It went from and we're not like, oh, you have to have A's, like,
right.
We just need you to graduate.
Try. Yeah.
Try your best.
Right.
And then from that to being in an advanced math, especially math.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that the teacher even like knows that she's so smart in that subject that she doesn't need help. She gets her stuff done, and then extra credit and all that stuff. Like, boyfriend has been a good influence for her.
Good.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
So
Wow.
I know when Zay and I came over to y'all's house a few weeks ago, you were like, your son he's had quite a few some medical problems in his early 5 years, because I know he had the allergy to the formula.
Yes.
And y'all couldn't figure it out. He was just miserable, crying all the time. But then he had to have surgery pretty soon after he was born, wasn't he?
Yes. So he was born with like a crooked neck, and it was because the way he was forming inside the womb, he was comfortable like putting his head to the side, and then he had to go through physical therapy when he was 6 months old.
Oh wow.
Baby.
To get him like to straight up his neck, and after that he had I don't remember the name of it. I know it was I would say like a cyst, but it wasn't a cyst, that was growing, and it was pressuring his neck as well, so that had to be removed.
Oh goodness.
And
gracious.
he was a year and something old, and it was amazing to see him after surgery, how well he took everything. Like, he was himself. he was still him.
That's so awesome.
He took he took it like a champ. Like he went through surgery, he came out of it, and then he was like,
okay, let's go. What's next?
Where's my popsicle? Like,
right. Yeah.
And I need you guys to feed me because at that point he hasn't eaten so many hours and all that stuff. And then day one he started like spinning around in the same place, and I was like, hopefully they took the right parts because he seems a little bit cuckoo, but he was good.
He was being a kid.
He was being a kid.
Yeah.
And after that, he recently has his tonsils removed and his adenoids.
I'm amazed. I didn't think they took those out anymore.
Yeah, he had to. He was getting sick every other week. And
poor baby.
as soon as they took those out, like he's been a lot better. I am very grateful. We were kind of scared because he's so young and 2 surgeries. For me, that was like, it was too much. It's too much for a kid. But at the same time, if it's only going to get worse, I prefer to do it now.
Yeah, before you can remember anything.
Yeah, and then like he has other complications. Like oddly enough, he is allergic to horses.
How did you determine that?
That is so we didn't know that what was going on. We always saw him getting sick after petting zoos, and then we went to check went to check his allergies, and they did the whole thing. And then you're like, oh, he's just allergic to dust. And the doctor was like, did you guys like ever notice anything different when he's around horses? I'm like, I mean, when we go to petting zoos, he gets sick. Like, yeah. So that one specific one acted differently from the rest. So he might be allergic to horses. Like, oh, that makes sense now.
What a weird allergy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been. Well, he went to a petting zoo once after that. And we didn't know that there was a petting zoo in that area. So when we got there and then we noticed that, we had to give him like Benadryl. Yeah. So he couldn't get sick.
Poor baby.
Yes.
Wow. That is.
I mean, I've heard some weird allergies, but like a horse, that's a new one to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like very specific, allergic to horses. Like, okay, yeah.
Well, luckily, horses don't roam around town. He's not gonna like find a stray and be like, "Daddy, can we please take this one home?" You know. So it's not like a cat or a dog. That's a little bit more easily not attainable, but
accessible.
Accessible. Thank you.
Yeah, he's not one of those kids that's very into animals. Like he likes his cats and dogs. That's most of it. And he wants a bird, but I'm not gonna get him a bird.
Oh, I hate birds. They're pretty to look at, but I just think they're dirty.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I got 2 lovebirds.
When? I didn't know about this.
I was living at the apartment in 5 Points, so this was like right when I started kind of.
It was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, about 20 years ago. Someone gave me lovebirds because they couldn't take care of them anymore, and I was like, I've never had birds before, and then I learned why I never had birds before. I didn't kill them, just for everybody to know. But it's...
Did they fly free?
Huh?
Did they fly free?
No, I found someone else to take them because it's noisy, it's dirty, it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I have no desire to ever have a bird.
I'll hold a plastic bag and pick up a pile of shit for a dog, but I did not want to take care of those cats.
Yeah.
Because I had Bailey at the time, so,
Yeah, birds are... Ugh.
Bailey was my dog. So
Don't mean to yuck any bird lovers' yums out there, but
yeah,
man.
I'm sorry, guys, if you if you love birds, but I didn't see the fun.
Yeah, the only exotic pet I ever had was 2 rats, and they were actually really sweet animals. Like they were really affectionate with me.
Mm-hmm.
But
and they're smart.
Yeah, they were really smart. But I don't know. After I was like, I don't know. I want to be able to like, they're too smart because they'll chew everything because I have to because their teeth. So you can't let them just run around on their own. And I'm a little too lazy to to like, so it's like they have to be in their crate or they have to be with me. And I got really sick of taking care of that goddamn crate. So, Jenny, you want to go get some wine or something?
Yes.
Go ahead.
But I will also say that the exotic animal, I guess, that I had that I absolutely fucking loved was a chinchilla named Stitch. And he was the coolest fucking animal in the world. Wasn't mine. I adopted him along with 5 dogs. Wait, no.
3 dogs.
4 dogs.
4? Okay.
Wait.
A bunch
Kara,
of dogs.
Hunter, Hayden. Yeah, 3 dogs, a cat, 2 cats,
Yep.
and a chinchilla. And he was the coolest thing. They take dust baths. I don't know if you've ever seen this. And they just roll around in the dust, and it is the coolest thing. And I probably would get another chinchilla. I loved him.
I think rodents are, like Jason said, very smart. And I feel like they're more fun sometimes than other animals because cats get bored of you and dogs get a little bit too aggressive and get very much like, you're overwhelming me. You need to, do
Calm
your
down.
own thing.
Right.
Because I had a guinea pig. And she knew when I came from work. She started screaming. She knew when
really?
She would. I would call her name, and she would start just screaming as well.
I've never heard of that before.
Yes, and then I went to the kitchen, and she knew that I was getting carrots, and she heard the cabinets open, and she was just just going crazy in her little cage and all that stuff.
Wow, that's funny.
And I loved it. Like, I would have another one, but I've already decided as soon as my dogs go to doggy heaven, I am done with animals until I retire from everything. I have time for them.
There you go.
I got you.
All right. Well, I think that's probably a good transition spot.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So we've had our interview. So now we'll do snack time. So we have been nibbling on a baguette. And so what is this? It's a goat cheese. It is a Vermont goat cheese with herb. Yeah. I don't know. It's a really strong, potent goat cheese. Y'all ever had goat cheese before?
Oh yeah, love goat cheese.
It's very crumbly.
Very crumbly, but very good.
Very good. I really, really liked it. I will say, though, that we have to have Irving back because I feel like we just
scratch the surface. Yeah.
The surface of his life. And I want to hear more about the babies.
Well, I was about to say, your son is 5 now, so
Yes.
we'll give it a couple more seasons. You come back, tell us how he's like written on your walls or like cut a cable with a phone.
Or stole your makeup and then wrote all over the wall with
Lord.
it.
I got a few of those stories.
Well, at that point of it,
Yeah, there we go.
It's story time.
It is story time,
So,
so.
did you come up with one like we told you in the beginning of the podcast? A good one about you as a kid, your son, your daughter, anything?
Well, one specific story happened last year with my son. Talking about how he got sick and all that stuff, and we had to clean his nose a lot. One of the methods we used was just like pressing down on his nose to get all the boogers out. So he was taking his bath and all that stuff, and I was just trying to take his boogers out, and he was hurting. And I was like, maybe I just did it too hard, so I did it a little bit softer, and he still said it's hurting me. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Maybe you just have like one of those hard boogers or whatever. So like, I do see the booger, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, give me 1 second, I'll take it out of you. When I was pulling on the booger, it was a foam sticker of a star, at least 2 inches, that was stuck in there. And I saw that, and I was like, I was traumatized, and
How did he get it out there?
I was like, out of everything, this is, I know kids do real weird and random stuff. This is the most random thing he has ever done. So I asked him, like, why did you do this? He's like, I didn't know that was up there. I was like, then who did this? That day we had one of his cousins over. So I thought he was defending his cousin. They're both the same age. And he was like, I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. And then he came up with the most extravagant story.
At 4 years old, right?
4 years old.
4 years old.
He tells me that it maybe happened when he was in nap time at school and he moved too close to the air conditioner at that school and it blew too hard and one of the stickers went right up his nose. I was like, I don't know what to say. I am
so smart. Oh my God.
Like the way that he made that story up, and I was pissed, and at the same time, like, he's never done this before, but he has lied when he was smaller,
right?
He'll continue to lie as he gets older. Trust me.
So it's like and then the lies get smarter and more extravagant, and then I just didn't know what to believe. So I waited 2 days to ask him again, and he told me the same story. At that point, either he is very, very, he's a good liar, or this is the true story. Because at that point, I didn't know what to believe. But then he was talking to Julio, and then he told Julio he did it. So I was like, okay, all right. Like I wasn't going to get mad at him for doing it. I was like, I just don't want you to do it again because this is dangerous,
especially with your health issues.
It's like you understand, like you're gonna get, this was before the surgery, you're gonna get the surgery because you can't breathe and you're just putting stuff off your nose. Like this is not how this works, sir.
Or we have to take you to the ER and they have to pull it out with tweezers and like the Legos that kids stick up their nose. Or
I stuck a pearl up my nose one time.
A what?
Pearl.
I did not hear.
What do you think I said?
Pull up for some reason.
Yes, no,
I was like, how the hell did you pull up?
Just a little pearl. It almost got lost up in there. Like it got like in your sinuses, like there's kind of over, like, well, right? No, there's like kind of like you go up and there's kind of a hill and then it starts going back. Yeah. It got to the top of that like hill in there, and I started freaking out. So I started I closed one nostril and just started breathing, or like pushing out really hard, and it finally popped back down. But,
and that was last week, right?
Yeah. I wish.
It wasn't 4 years old.
No. I'm amazed.
I love how extravagant his stories were.
That was a good one. I would have been cackling.
I want to meet him because he sounds wicked smart, and
you would love him. You would love him.
Well, I love all kids that aren't mine.
Yeah. If he ever goes to visit you, he will ask you for a tour of your house.
Okay.
And then after the tour, he's going to ask you about your vacuums.
Okay.
And specifically your Roomba.
Okay.
He needs to know if you have a Roomba. And he'll tell you the name of the Roomba and the brand.
Oh, wow.
He'll tell you what it can do, and then he'll change the language. So you can have a fun day. My Roomba was Danish for 2 weeks.
Nice. Well, if it ever becomes German, I can help out a little bit with that. Just to let you know.
He's probably going to make it difficult for you. Huh? He's probably going to make it difficult for you.
He just won't come to my house.
Okay.
So I'll just come to y'all's house.
Gotcha.
And he can tell me about y'all's Roomba.
Yes.
We'll change it to German, and then we'll laugh, and then I'll tell him what to, what to say to it.
That's so funny.
There you go.
That was a good story.
Yeah, I liked it. Well... Not that he lied, but all kids lie.
It was still a funny story.
To have that extravagant of a lie, and then just be like, Julio's like, hey, what happened? I put it up there. Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah, Good Lord. Who's a tougher father than I am. I'm very much like, I'm trying gentle parenting.
Good luck.
It is a lie for everybody. Gentle parenting does not exist. It hurts you more.
Yep.
Just because I feel like some of the things that we do, the kids don't learn from them. I'm not saying spank them. I'm not saying you have to do like stuff that I got done when I was a kid.
Right.
Where, a quick story was that I grabbed one of my grandma's seeds and...
One of her what?
Seeds of a cilantro plant.
Oh, okay.
In Puerto Rico, it's named recao or culantro here. And to gather those seeds, it takes you because they're so small. So I grabbed them for fun and I threw them everywhere.
In the house or outside?
Everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere. So my grandma caught me.
And she whooped your ass.
She did not whoop me. You know what she did? We were going to have crabs that night.
You were going to have what?
Crabs.
Oh, okay.
She closed me inside the living room and she let the crabs go. And she gave me a spatula to fend myself.
Damn, Grandma was hardcore.
Did the crabs get you?
They did not. I was fighting them
quick,
on top of the sofa. Like I was not gonna get a crap. But
wow. Now see, that's some
creative parenting.
Creative parenting right there.
I've never grabbed seeds again.
I was about to say, you ain't messing with no cilantro whatsoever anymore after that.
Grandma was like, I'm going to do gardening. I'll be in my room, Grandma. Thank you.
Yes, I'm not touching your seeds. I promise.
We promise. Oh my gosh, Irving, thank you so much for coming. And to all our listeners, thanks for listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting. If you have any funny stories about your kids,
or if you need some bad parenting advice or have any ideas for topics,
please email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids ask why we won't buy them soda, even though they just polished off a 6-pack in 2 days.
Tough shit.
Stop guzzling
Soda's
it.
not for kids, Jason.
Well, just a little.
No, not a 6-pack in 2 days.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Irving and Julio.
Of course, thank you for having us.